Episode 6 begins where its predecessor finished off as Gerry, much like a crab, crawls into bed with the enemy, the villain's tribe, waking them all in the dead of night. Straight away Simon and George are butting heads about who will be lying in bed with Gerry, literally and physically in the shack that is the villain's hut, Simon winning for now as George is left to face the cold, and the crabs, on the outer edge of the sleeping tribe. Whilst hero Sharni is worried that Gerry has had his feelings hurt, Gerry couldn't be happier and is welcomed with open arms, every villain wanting to win him over. George even goes so far as to say that he wants to weaponize Gerry and bring out his inner villain, forgetting he is a person not a bomb. Or is he? At the rewards challenge we see our castaways compete for an epic survivor homemaking kit overflowing with hammocks, blankets, chairs, pillows, a tarpon toolkit, and even homemade lasagna. Yum. Starting with a battle of the beef, Sam and Simon, peaking at a George vs Haley showdown where Haley covertly tells George that Gerry can be trusted, and ending when Simon's ego gets in the way. Shocker, the heroes win and skip off back to camp to enjoy the spoils of the efforts. King George never misses a beat when it comes to getting juicy gossip from the other side, George proudly tells the cameras. And honestly, he's not wrong. After our heroes enjoy some surprise photos from home, the elimination challenge arrives, and boy is it a doozy. All in all, though it comes down to the wire, our heroes led by Ben and Paige use their sign language skills to communicate with team members and put the pieces of a puzzle in place in record time, securing the win for the heroes' tribe. As the villains return to camp, Simon yet again is ready to give George the flick, whilst George, thinking further ahead in the game, turns his attention to beauty queen Sarah, who is currently floating in between the two warring camps of Simon and George. George attempts to win Stevie to his cause, but Stevie tells George that he feels bad about voting for Sarah and doesn't understand why George and allies are picking on her. Sorry, but has Stevie forgotten what game he is playing here? Moving on, Stevie turns to fellow aging Aussie Gerry for support as he faces his own internal crisis about who to vote for, Sarah or George. I'm totally in confusion, I'm not sure what I want to do. Gerry tells him to toughen up and vote for who he wants to, and not who he is told to. Poor Darl. Come tribal council, Stevie tells Jonathan that he's trying to be adaptive to the game, but we find that hard to believe given how confused he was earlier. Fast track and Sarah is actually the one who has her torch snuffed, as Simon decides to hold fire on George, for now, and cut loose Sarah. I just don't know where you sit, Sarah, and that's flaky in my books, Simon says as he writes his vote down. Wise move. As Sarah is pushed into the flames of tribal, we are left wondering when this George vs Simon showdown will actually go down.